Hello and welcome to a somber edition of Charch Chat here at Open Sports. I am Paul Charchian. Tom Brady, done for the year. A consensus first-round draft pick, had the best fantasy season ever for a quarterback last year, and fantasy owners got 1/4 out of him. And obviously the repercussions are significant throughout the team, not just for Tom Brady and his owners. So let's first begin here. Matt Castle. Do you pick him up? Well, if you had Tom Brady and you probably didn't have a second quarterback on roster, after all, he had started 125 straight games, you didn't really have a reason to think that you necessarily needed to have a quality backup plan, well, then sure, go ahead and pick up Matt Castle. You know, for everybody else, the other guys you've got, even if you waited a long time and you took the Matt Schaubs and Jake Delhomme, Phillip Rivers types of guys, you're probably going to be better off with them than you will Matt Castle. I fully expect that the Patriots at this point will end up readjusting their offense. They've been a pass-first offense for as long as Brady has been great. That's a long time. But you know what? They're really deep at running back. They got Maroney. They've got Sammy Morris, who actually had 10 carries and led the team on Sunday. They've got Lamont Jordan. They've got Kevin Falk coming back after missing a game in Week 1. This is a team that can really run the ball and use their running backs effectively when they need to. And I think they'll turn into a run-first team, and they'll start using Matt Castle to throw as almost more of a change of pace here. And that doesn't mean they won't, but don't be surprised if it works. Don't be surprised if it turns out that they're going to end up passing almost to set up the run instead of the other way around. And so a lot of changes here, and obviously Randy Moss is a great talent, and they'll still throw to him, and Matt Castle targeted him a great deal, especially early in that game. But, you know, it just feels like Castle probably not worth it. Now, Chris Sims may be brought in, or maybe Dante Culpepper and some other people, and maybe even by the time you're watching this, there's some others in that camp. But Castle will get the first crack at it because he's been with the team a long time. He knows the offense. He knows all the terminology. And Castle, who looked terrible in the preseason, actually looked pretty good on Sunday. And I was very impressed. I really didn't know what to expect, and I was pleasantly surprised. So I guess only for those of you that have Tom Brady and you don't have an obvious backup plan, I think for only those people would I suggest picking up Matt Castle. Okay, now let's talk about the fantasy ramifications for the other players. I mentioned the running backs. I really believe they're going to run a lot more now, and this really helps Lawrence Maroney, who is a fringe starter in my opinion prior to this. I think he becomes a guy that they're going to rely on a lot more, and you're going to see Lawrence Maroney run 15 to 20 times a game instead of 10 to 15 times a game, and that's a big difference for him. Now, goal line use will continue to not be Maroney in all probability. Sammy Morris, first and foremost, Lamont Jordan as a backup plan behind him. Those guys are all going to see an uptick in their fantasy value. Now, obviously, this really hurts the passing game. Randy Moss, his value, without a doubt, goes down, and not to the point where he's not an every week starter, because he remains an every week starter, and they'll throw to him a lot when they do need to throw. He'll become the obvious target there. Wes Welker will be the safety valve guy, and we saw a lot of that in the second half of Sunday's game, where Welker got targeted from Castle quite a bit. It's just the safety valve, the guy you can dump off to, because the Chiefs turned on a dime, started putting a lot of pressure on Castle, and he had to get rid of the ball quickly. A lot of those passes went to Wes Welker. Jabbar Gaffney, who I talked about a lot coming into this season as one of my favorite sleepers, I don't believe he caught a pass, and I don't think that he's going to have a role on a lot of fantasy teams at this point without Tom Brady. And so, while I hate to backpedal on one of my favorite sleepers for the season, hey, every receiver is different with the drop-off between Tom Brady, the best quarterback in football, and Matt Castle, one of the shakiest backups. That's going to make fringe guys like a Jabbar Gaffney somebody you probably can't have on your roster anymore. So there you go. It's a sad day. It's within the world of fantasy football, we can use the word tragedy here. It's not Darfur. It's still fantasy football, but within our ranks, it's a sad day, and it is a tragedy. So there you have it. Thank you for checking out our sad edition of Charch Chat here at Open Sports.
For more great videos, check back every day on opensports.com.